Echoes of Silence, the third and final mixtape in what would soon become Trilogy. This has been a long time coming. I started making these videos like literally a year ago. I'll have to put the exact date in here, but it's been a year and we're finally here. So let's get into it. I have a genius annotation here that says this mixtape and this song in general are a very melancholic yet powerful conclusion to the tape. The Weeknd presents the audience with a piercing question. Is the girl the victim of this narrative, or is he? When Trilogy was released, Till Dawn Here Comes the Sun replaced Echoes of Silence as the final song in the Echoes of Silence installment, as far as like listening to Trilogy goes. So you would go from Till Dawn back up to High for this versus going from Echoes of Silence to Dirty Diana or DD, which is the first song on Echoes of Silence. The mixtape itself, Echoes of Silence, was solely produced by Ilangelo, with Drop X Live collaborating on Initiation and Clams Casino collaborating on The Fall, which notably, Clams Casino has also gone on to collaborate with Travis Scott. However, Doc McKinney will show up again on Till Dawn Here Comes the Sun. We can get into why Doc McKinney is not seen producing on Echoes of Silence a little later. It's mentioned in King of the Fall. I really like how this mixtape sounds as a whole. It is the first peek we really get to see in what The Weeknd is known for and what he does best, which is transitioning 4 and 5 songs together to sound like one cohesive piece. Echoes of Silence was released on December 21st, 2011. Starting off, the first track is DD, which stands for Dirty Diana. This is a rendition of Michael Jackson's Dirty Diana, not a cover. They're different, okay? Funnily enough, did you know that Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson is produced by Quincy Jones? Yeah, the guy that does the interlude on Dawn FM. Okay, rest in peace. The Weeknd spoke with the LA Times in 2016 about how Dirty Diana influenced his artistry. He says, Dirty Diana is my favorite song of all time. It's literally my number one. It takes all these genres and puts it into one song. Rock, experimental, hip hop, R&B. That's why I wanted to write these dope songs. The songs wind up structured a lot differently on Lyric Genius. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I was able to compare Michael's Dirty Diana and Abel's DD and see where there were some lyrical differences. I can't tell if they were on purpose or not, but I'm just going to pull them up and read them out to you. In the first verse, Michael says, I know your every move, so won't you just let me be? And if you are listening to DD religiously like I am, that sounds weird because The Weeknd says, I know your every move, so won't you please let me be? In the first pre-chorus, I have the stuff that you want. I am the thing that you need. The Weeknd says, I am the stuff that you want. I am the thing that you need. In the last pre-chorus, Michael's version says, I said, but unlock the door, cause I forgot the key. Abel's version says, I said unlock the door, cause I forgot the key. One of them just says but, and that's it. There's really not a lot of differences. All of the lyrics are pretty much the same. The Weeknd takes it in a much darker R&B direction. With that being said, how does DD carry over into our narrative from Thursday? Michael's version seems to be about the idea of groupies. He has said himself in interviews like he did not write this about one particular person. He is just thinking of the rise to fame and the attention he's gotten and the girls that wait outside the door. Like if you listen to his version, he really like is very adamant like I want these girls to stay away from me. The Weeknd takes it and spins it and makes it about one girl in particular. You can just kind of tell in the narrative that since he has been talking about singular girls most of the time, that this is about one particular girl. The beginning of the song is incredibly slow and crescendos into the first verse. So it starts out really quiet too. Verse 1 says, You'll never make me stay, so take your weight off of me. I know your every move, so won't you please let me be? I've been here times before, but I was too blind to see that you'd seduce every man. This time you won't seduce me. Genius also said there The Weeknd says head instead of weight, but the official lyrics say wait. So I'm going with wait. He is pleading, girl. He is saying, girl, leave me alone. He's saying, I know girls like you. I've run into them before. This groupie girl is only going to get me in trouble. I don't want to deal with her. He is pleading. So instead of saying, won't you just let me be? He says, won't you please let me be? In the pre-chorus, it says, she's saying that's okay. Hey, baby, do what you please. I am the stuff that you want. I am the thing that you need. She looked me deep in the eyes. She touching me so to start. She say there's no turning back. She trapped me in her heart. What we can glean from this is that this girl is incredibly manipulative. She's like, that's okay if you don't want me, but I actually am what you need. He didn't write this song, obviously, but it could be a callback to What You Need, except it's flipped and the girl is saying it this time. It sounds like he is getting seduced, as the story goes in Dirty Diana. In verse 2, he sings, she likes the boys in the band. She knows when they come to town. Every musician's fan after the curtains come down. She waits at backstage doors for those who have prestige, who promise fortune and fame, a life that's so carefree. He's saying she's not just into him. This is her MO. She hangs around every show for every musician. He knows he's not special. She just waits for whoever to come out that door. In Dirty Diana or DD, there are two different pre-choruses. We are on the second pre-chorus. She's saying that's okay. Hey baby, do what you want. I'll be your night loving thing. I'll be the freak you can taunt. And I don't care what you say. I want to go too far. I'll be your everything if you make me a star. Now, does that sound familiar to y'all? Probably could have had it all. Could have been that lonely star. Clearly, Diana is flippant because she knows she can get some other man the next night. She can get any other man. So she is like, this ain't nothing to me. She is really trying to seal the deal, though. Like, she doesn't give up. And the being flippant is part of her manipulation. In verse 3, he sings, she said, I have to go home because I'm real tired, you see. But I hate sleeping alone. Why don't you come with me? I said my baby's at home. She's probably worried tonight. I didn't call on the phone to say that I'm all right. Diana walked up to me. She said, I'm all yours tonight. At that, I ran to the phone, saying, baby, I'm all right. I said, unlock the door because I forgot the key. She said, he's not coming back because he's sleeping with me. Ugh. Okay, and that's how the song ends. There might have been another chorus repeat, but that's basically how DD or Dirty Diana ends. He is like trying so hard to avoid her and forget about her and ignore her, but she's still hanging around. Like, he's still tempted by it. So when he goes to run to the door to call his baby, what happens? She's yelling in the background. She said, he's not coming home. He's lying to you. He's gonna sleep with me. You think he's home late because the show? No. Anyway, and that is Dirty Diana, which leads us into Montreal. He just played there, but he said it like Montreal. Is that, y'all, help a southerner out? How do you say that word?
Montreal might be the craziest one.
Montreal? Is that what I'm supposed to say? I'm learning something new every day, and you should too. How do I say that word? Let me look it up. Montreal. Play it.
Montreal.
Okay, he's just being silly.
Last night, Montreal night one was fucking loud.
Y'all just better be extra nice to me in the comments about this song completely in general, because I love this song, okay? The samples are freaking back, dude. The samples are back in full force and full swing. Fun fact, Echoes of Silence was made in Montreal. I had a lot of darkness in that city. That is a direct quote from The Weeknd himself, from a 2013 cover story for Complex. Let's get into Montreal, the second track on Echoes of Silence. The intro is an interpolation of Laissez tomber les filles, originally performed by France Gall, and it is so slay. It is so slay. Like, when y'all hear what they're actually saying in this song, you're gonna lose your mind, because it just adds like such a subtle layer to the whole project, the whole thing. I have like seen it in a couple movies and TV shows too. So like whenever it pops up, I'm like, I'm gonna read it in French the best I can. I have learned it pretty well, and I actually drunkenly sang this to an Uber driver one time. He was speaking French, and I was like, I know a little French. The intro goes, Laissez tomber les filles, laissez tomber les filles. Un jour c'est toi qu'on la sera. And then he repeats that, and he goes, Oui, je peux me laisser jouer. Non, je ne pleurerai pas. Je ne pleurerai pas. Oui, je peux me laisser jouer. Non, je ne pleurerai pas. Non, je ne pleurerai pas. Let me know how I did in the comments, y'all. I'm mostly going off how he sings it, but the English translation of this song says, Leave the girls alone. Leave the girls alone. Or one day it will be you they leave. Leave the girls alone. Leave the girls alone. Or one day it'll be you they will leave. Yes, I cried. But on that day, no, I won't cry. No, I won't cry. Yes, I cried. But on that day, I won't cry. I won't cry. Ugh, it's so good. I am sick. This song has been out since 1965. It is as old as my freaking parents, okay? And he just said, and you know what? Let me get in the studio. Let me get on that mic. Let me sing it really low and slow for the ladies. He actually went to French immersion school when he lived in Canada. And what that means is you literally cannot speak any other language but French when you go to class. It only makes sense that he would probably like have heard this song or learned this song somewhere. This is the second of many languages he would include in his projects. Verse 1 of Montreal goes, I guess you had no idea that you could have persuaded me. Girl, you could have had me doing anything you pleased. You're telling me right now that this man, all of Thursday, he was like, I don't want you. Get away from me. All of a sudden, he's like, you could have had me doing anything. Don't trust men or women who listen to The Weeknd. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He goes on to say, girl, you should have took your time and thought of what to say to me because I'm not as hard as I make it seem to be. Okay, so actually he did go ahead and explain that he's putting up a front. He's saying that he isn't really like she thought, and he's actually more sensitive, and this persona of The Weeknd is actually just a hard outer shell. In the chorus, he sings really high. He says, and it could have went so many ways it could go, because ain't nobody feels the way that I feel when I'm alone. Yeah, put that one up on the whiteboard, please. Thank you. Then he sings, so if I say that I won't call, the lying comes natural to me. When he says he won't call, he actually does want to call, but he's just really that good at lying. Then he says, you probably could have had it all. You could have been that lonely star if we just went on. So, what do you mean? You could have been that lonely star? That's all the DD girl wanted. She wanted to be the lonely star. Lonely Star is a reference to one of the Weeknd songs on the second mixtape, Thursday, if you didn't know. It refers to the girl he would give everything to. He goes on to sing If We Just Went On. The interpolation of Laissez tomber les filles comes in between the repetition. He sings, happiness exists when you don't know a thing. So I hope you don't think this song is about you. Girl, if you think this song is about you, better think again. He's thinking about one girl, specifically the Lonely Star girl. But if you are the Lonely Star, he is obviously lying, and this song is definitely about you. He's so good at lying, too. Then he says, and only I can know how close you came, but baby, I'm a pro at letting go. I love it when they come and go. With that, he's saying if she's just going to act like another one of the girls, he's going to treat her as such. According to Lyric Genius, in this verse, there are potentially a couple nods to classic songs like Carly Simon's You're So Vain. You probably think this song is about you, don't you? and Culture Club's 1983 hit Karma Chameleon, in which Boy George sings You Come and Go regarding a lover whose affections are difficult to discern. That sounds pretty accurate for this song. We end the song with an interpolation of Laissez tomber les filles. I'm not going to make y'all sit through my reading of that again. And that is Montreal. But it's not actually, because the end of this song is a piano stroke that leads us into Outside. Going from Montreal to Outside, we really start to see those incredible transitions that I talked about in the first video of this installment. If you're listening to it on streaming, Spotify, Apple, and you put it in order and you don't look at your phone, you don't know where one song ends and another begins. Stepping into the third track of Echoes of Silence, we're starting to see more samples, just like House of Balloons. Outside samples Go Outside by Cults, which does have a bit of a happier tone, but I can see how parallels to both songs can be made. And honestly, if you haven't watched the music video for Go Outside by Cults, I highly recommend doing that. It's set around the Jonestown cult from the 70s. Kicking off the song with verse 1, he says, I'll let you show me his moves, let you do what he taught you, let you reminisce how you used to do. Girl, I'm open to anything that'll get you into that zone. Hey, we're mentioning zone here. We're mentioning the zone to be exact, as a way of showing that the girl currently is the one who needs to get into the zone, not him. He's happy with who he's with. Obviously, from the first verse, she's just been through a breakup, and he's trying to help her get over that. How sweet! Here he says, we're all alone, so get comfy, because we're going to be up all night, actually. Then he says, wish you could see you through my eyes. Ain't that the most romantic that you ever heard? Then he says, I'm telling you this ain't the same, and I know he's still in your brain. I'm about to burn that into flames. And then he says something else that I know the words, but I'm gonna refrain because this is TikTok. He goes on to say in the chorus, forget what you know, make yourself at home, because baby, when I'm finished with you, you won't want to go outside. Take a shot every time I say I'm screaming in the car, because I am, and we're not even to the best part yet. That's verse 2. Verse 2 is the best part of Outside. Argue with the wall. I don't care. In verse 2, he says, and I'm gonna work it like a pro, baby. Why? And you gonna take it like one. He's doing this because she's been talking about it. I can't really read the rest of verse 2, but you know. You know how verse 2 goes. You can go listen to it. Oh my god. He's doing this because he says she's been talking about it. She's been talking about linking up with him. I guess this is his way of saying he's earned some kind of reputation around town, telling her he's going to live up to those expectations. He's about to show off, and when he's done, she will be speechless. At the end of the verse, he says, all the pain that you feel, you can tell that we ain't making no love, but I'll pretend. Oh, girl, I'll pretend. If you pretend, then girl, I'll pretend. Let's make it seem like we're all we need in the end. And when he's done, she will not want to exit the premises. She will want to stay inside. She will not want to go back outside. Outside of what? Well, if you want to get a little meta with it, outside of his apartment, outside of his house, but also in another way, outside of being with anybody but him, pretty much. And we break it down in the outro as we transition smoothly and cleanly into EXO slash the host via tight violin strings and the same end note of Outside. And that is Outside. Welcome to EXO slash the host. This is going to go ahead and be our fourth two-part song. Part 1 being, of course, XO. I'm assuming if you're watching this video right now that you know what XO means, especially in the context of the Weeknd's music. However, there is another meaning in the context of this song in particular. The term XO refers to cognac grades. That's a really hard word for me to say. In which XO means extra old. It is the second best aging grade for cognac and comes with a minimum aging rating of 10 years. So when he says shots of the Henny, bottles of Patron, he's saying these drinks have been aged a long time and that's how he likes it, okay? The next line is to your face. You don't want to sing no more. Lost your C notes. C note is also a fun double meaning. Anyone who's familiar with music knows what a C note is. For me, personally, it was the highest note I could play on flute and piccolo. It's also a term for a $100 bill in Canada. So she's lost her voice and possibly all of her money too, which would make sense in this context. And we've all been there. We've all lost our voice and all of our money from partying, guys. You're watching a freaking Weeknd lyric breakdown. Like, of course you've lost all your money and voice from partying before. You can relate. I know you can. When he says cabbed all day, took the bus back home, he's saying she spent all of her cab fare money out partying with the Weeknd. So now, like, she cabbed everywhere and now she has no money for a cab, so she has to take the bus home. Very simple. But you're usually not taking a bus to the party, man. Come on, like, she had to cab there. She had to cab there. This girl, oh my gosh, it just gets worse. She is having the worst day ever. When she gets home, eviction's on your door, he says. Blame it on the blame it on the blame it on the nightlife, lights passing you. Once again, there's a lot to unpack here, okay? Number 1. The nightlife slash party lifestyle is getting to her and she can't sustain it anymore. She's getting kicked out of her apartment. Although it's never explicitly said, I'm sure she's not been showing up to work because she's cabbing all day, like during the day. She is in a cab all day. Girl, that is jobless behavior, okay? Number 2, Genius says, blame it on the repetition could be an illusion, not illusion, allusion to Jamie Foxx's song, Blame It. It goes like, blame it on the, got your feeling, blame it on the, got you feeling, blame it on a. You know the song. And number 3, when he says lights passing you, we can draw a connection to blinding lights. So put a pin in that because that will come about 10 years later. He tells her to blame it on everything you're doing. Don't blame it on me because you want to enjoy the spoils of a lifestyle that I can afford to live. Meanwhile, she can't. She just can't afford it. He gets to do stuff like this because it's part of his job. Like clubs and bottles and rugs and women and all that stuff. That's paid for by his job, which is being a musician. Most regular people cannot pay for and sustain this lifestyle, or stuff like this starts happening. You get evicted. You have to take the bus. You have an addiction, and now you have to pay to keep up with that, too. He says it makes sense that she would want to chase this life because she's actually very pretty, though. She is, like, built like a goddess, he says. It seems like she's been stressed out, though, and all the rugs she's been doing is not helping. Now, one thing I love about The Weeknd, especially around the like trilogy era, is the unconventional structure that his songs take. In the EXO Part 1 alone, there are 2 different bridges. Huh? What? You heard it right. You heard it here first. There was 2 different bridges. He says in the bridge, if they don't let you in, you know where to find me. Because if you want to go again, you can always call me. Because all we ever do is love. Open up your mind. You can find the love. Girl, you ain't alone. We all been alone. Baby, just be honest. Another mention of alone. There's a lot of being alone in this mixtape, too. In the chorus, in between him careening XO over and over again, he says, don't worry, we'll be everything you need. In verse 2, he is asking for consent to document the night on his new camera. He wants to capture her at her best. What does best mean to him? Well, he lets us know explicitly what best means. He says, when your hair's a mess, you look so depressed, you're filled with regret, and you feel like you gotta go home. After that, he says, because these nights pass so much quicker than the days did. Same clothes, you ain't ready for your day shift. Welcome back to the chat. House of Balloons. How you feeling? Yes. Oh, we're starting to see repetition up in this. Oh, we're starting to see a lyric repeated from another song. And this, I really think, is what it boils down to, why people think his songs all sound the same, because he really does say the same thing a bunch of times. But here's the thing. They're all different, first of all. Second of all, he's using it as a callback, okay? And that is genius. And that is what people love about, like, artists like Taylor Swift, where, like, she built that whole story around folklore in the album Folklore, you know what I'm talking about? It's cool when she does it. It's a problem when he does it. No, not to me, okay? I think it's freaking genius. It looks like we can infer from the lyrics that she's been evicted. She moves in with her parents, but continues to party. So she wakes up one day to the sound of her mom crying in the other room because she found her bag stuffed in the laundry of from the last party. But don't worry, we're right back into partying, the second recitation of the bridge. In this, we start to transition into the host, sonically about halfway through verse 2, but after the second chorus, we quickly drop into the second part of this two-part song. Starting off part 2, all of the drums and the beat drop out, and it sounds like we're floating on a cloud throughout the intro of part 2. He starts off by saying he needs something from her, but doesn't really say exactly what it is. He says there's so much love to pass around that there's almost too much. What do you think he means by love? It could be XO. It could be he has a lot of friends that have a lot of love and they all love each other. I don't know. What do you think he means by love in this context? Let me know in the comments. He says the night is almost done, which is just like an overarching theme for Echoes of Silence overall. Who she came with is already gone. She is once again alone. But she's not really alone. No. Can you guess why? Because he's there, actually. Okay, that's great. Has no home, no money, but she has him. She said she wants him, he says, but he is no stranger to her. He remembers her from a previous interaction, actually. It could be someone from Thursday. It could be someone from DD. It's probably someone from DD. Now, as I get into this part of the host, and as we move into initiation, I just want y'all to keep in mind this portion may contain some sensitive info. I will go more in depth with a direct quote about initiation in the next video, but just know he knows this part has not aged well, okay? This particular part of Echoes of Silence has not aged well. He almost wrote these verses with some sort of shock value, like on purpose. The only thing you have to know to end EXO / the host is the final verse of this song is repeated in the next song, which is Initiation. Once again, we're getting that sweet repetition, and I'll get into that in the next video. For initiation, I want to start off with a quote from one of the Weeknd's most recent interviews. The interviewer asks, taking into consideration an old song like Initiation, is it a logical extension of it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none energy? And if so, what is our in-game feeling like? He says, that reference you gave is a party song. What I was making at 19 was horror. I wanted to create something sonically terrifying that got under your skin. With the Echoes of Silence project, I wanted to push the genre as far as I could, and oftentimes when you take creative risks early in your career, it has the potential not to age well. That's from his interview he did with Complex in February of this year. The genius description is as follows. In a girl's quest for his love and acceptance, The Weeknd describes the dark, drug-induced lifestyle that she has to comply with. Getting down with him means getting down with the whole XO crew. With that being said, this song holds so much XO lore as well as parallels to Cry For Me off of Hurry Up Tomorrow. The parallels to Cry For Me, there are 3 that I have come up with so far. Number 1, he does this thing where he slides his voice from a low pitch to a high pitch in the same way he does Cry For Me. Number 2, the subject matter / growth, where the two songs diverge, even though they use the same vocal techniques, is the subject matter. In Initiation, he's talking about some meet my boys and all this, that, and the other. And in Cry for Me, he's talking about a girl he's lost. And then number 3, this is gonna go ahead and be the third installment of Trilogy. And Cry for Me comes on the third installment of the second trilogy. Coincidence? Back to Initiation. This is a hypothetical song. Like, this doesn't really mean that this happened. This is just a song, okay? In the beginning of the song, we are just getting fucked up. There's a moment where he's like, no, baby, you don't need that shot of rum. And it's so funny because it's like, girl, after what you just described that you were up to, I cannot imagine rum even making a dent. But okay. Sweet. He's like, watching out for her. I love a red flag. He says, there's enough to pass around. You don't gotta wait in line. And the clocks don't work. You don't gotta check the time. And the blinds don't work. You don't gotta check the sky. We'll be going all night till light. Bars. Genius pointed out, it's funny that he did use the sky to tell time in House of Balloons / Glass Table Girls, but now we're so far gone, it's like, nah, now is not the time for looking at the sky, okay? We're inside. If you remember, we are not going back outside. We're inside. Plus, the rhymes are just so smooth, beautiful, gorgeous, no notes. He repeats the verse from the host now in the chorus a little faster than the host. So the chorus says, I got a test for you. And this is what he was saying he wanted in the host. Like I said in the last video, like, he wants something, but we don't really know what it is yet. He's kind of like easing you into the proposal, if you will. He says, I got a test for you. You say you want my heart. Well, baby, you can have it all. This is crazy news because he's been like, this whole time he's been like, no, you can't have my heart. I'm keeping it to myself, actually, for my rugs. This is where he broaches the question. He says, there's just something I need from you, is to meet my boys. In this chorus, it's cut short and it stops right there in Initiation as we head into the second verse. So we get there and we're looking around and we're like, this looks kind of weird in here. And he says, don't mind all the writings on the wall. I thought I'd passed my peak and I'm experiencing fall. And all I want to do is leave because I've been zoning for a week. He did go ahead and reference the fall and the zone all within 2 lines. That's what I mean when I say this song is very important to EXO lore, regardless of the subject matter. Right here in the end of this verse, he's being such a good host. He says, go on if you thirsty, baby, if you thirsty. Grab a cup of that XO, baby. I've been leaning back from the come down. Girl, I've been fiending for another round. Don't you blame it on me. Coming up in the chorus, we get the full version mentioned in the host, which is the end of the chorus into the beginning of verse 3. That's how they broke that up in this song. In the chorus, I got a lot of boys, and we can make you right. And if you get too high, baby, come over here and ride it out. In verse 3, we're basically coming close to the climax of the song. I would say this is the fastest he's been rapping this entire song. And at the end of the song, he sings the chorus up an octave, like really high. And then the outro is really low, repeating over and over again. What does he say in the outro that is so important, you ask? That north, that up top, that OVO and that XO, which we've already been over this. We have already discussed this. Once again, we're getting the repetition. But this is another allusion to the zone. And this time, it's Drake's verse. Direct sample. He's sampling himself at this point. Okay? What do you mean? What do you mean? He's sampling himself. Come on now, guys. And that is Initiation. Thank you for sitting with me through that one. I wanted to handle this one with care because the first time I heard Cry for Me, I was like, y'all don't understand. You don't get the significance. And now you do. And now you all do. And you can enjoy it with me. The next song that we're going to go over is Same Old Song. Same Old Song starts off with a killer bass line and a bell ringing in the background. When the beat comes in, he asks a question in a pleading, almost hurt tone. He says, "Where were you when I needed you 8 months ago?" Someone beautiful and gorgeous in the Genius annotation section did the math for me. 8 months ago seems to be referring to when he put out his first mixtape, which would have been March of 2011. 8 months ago was House of Balloons, okay? And yesterday was 14 years ago. He says, "All your girlfriends talking about me. Now you're ringing up my phone. I bet you miss me now, baby. I bet you'd kiss me now, baby. Especially since you know that this ain't nothing and I only just begun." Beautiful, gorgeous, no notes. Taking on the pre chorus. "You never thought that I would ever go this far. You said potential couldn't ever last this long. We've all been there." I'm just kidding. No, we haven't. He says she did not believe in his potential, which at the time it was probably kind of hard to have some kind of faith in something like that. I'm sorry, we love him now, and I can't imagine not ever having his music in our lives. But there was a time where he was unproven, a starving artist, very into rugs, and also cheating just a lot, okay? There's a lot of cheating on House of Balloons, okay? Kind of concerning. And then he says, "Well, baby, I've been alone for almost all my life. What makes you think you could ever do me right?" Okay. Another mention of alone and another question. Then we get into the chorus where he repeats the same sentence over and over again. "You're the same old song." And he is belting this out at the top of his lungs. What does he mean by this? When he calls her the same old song and tells her this over and over and over again, he is basically saying this is a theme repeated over and over and over in songs in the music industry. Hence the repetition. It's freaking genius. Not only is she the same old song, he's saying same old song over and over and over again, as repetitive as she is being right now as a trope in his life. Genius says, "She's the same as all the other girls that said he wouldn't make it, and as soon as he did, they tried to come back into his life." And he says, "And now I'm poppin'. Yeah, ain't nobody showed me how. I made it big poppin'. Yeah." He's getting popular in the music industry. He did it all on his own with no help in the start, which well, yes, but like somebody had to produce the music, so um he did have some help, but he was trying a bunch of different things and he was really determined to do it on his own. Also, Big Poppin' could be a reference to Biggie's Big Papa, or the fact that he has done it all while being a rug connoisseur. He's out there touching the rugs and feeling the rugs and looking for the rugs, okay? Then he says, "Tell me how you like me now," which is just like, oh my god, what a dig. It's so cocky. He says, "I swear I loved you, girl, and you probably went and the world." Another reference to the world up on the whiteboard, please. Thank you. He says, "Well, you can take another shot every time you hear me playing in the club." Oh, oh, that one hurt. When he says that, when he sings that, that has got to be one of the most specific disses in the world, dude. Now, there's not a single annotation on Juicy J's outro. I will tell you that he says the Weeknd music make ladies get excited. That's gonna go ahead and be the G-rated version. You can go listen to the explicit version on your own time. Saying he's spending as much money as my college tuition is in the club, pretending like it is Christmas, and he's throwing the dollar bills around for all the ladies. Immediately after that, he does not give you a second to breathe because we are immediately thrown into the fall. Don't look at my nail polish. Love the fall. We transition straight from Juicy J telling us how the Weeknd's music make ladies feel and how much money they spent in the club directly into the fall. The intro starts with just one of my favorite sounds. I don't really know what that instrument is or what like sound they're using to make this sound. Like it's just a beautiful sound. If you know what they're using in the beginning of the fall to make the intro sounds so beautiful, please comment below. I don't freaking know. I don't freaking know. I'm gonna go on a tangent for just a little bit, so double speed or like skip to this time here if you don't want to hear this. But funny story. Back before I paid for Spotify, yes, there was a time where I suffered with free Spotify. You could go to an artist and shuffle them. I just shuffled The Weeknd. That's all that you could do. It cycled through the same like few songs. There was just Kissland and Trilogy out, cycling through that, driving to high school, no big deal. Finally, I get into college and they have that $5 Spotify deal, so I get it. Never heard The Fall until I got to college. I had already seen him in concert at this point. So, Legend of the Fall, I just thought he was talking about King of the Fall. But no, he is talking about The Fall. When I tell you I finally heard this song, it felt like hearing an unreleased track or something. I was obsessed. There are so many videos of me driving back and forth to college or wherever playing this song, driving over a bridge. It just felt so majestic to listen to in the car. Okay, anecdote over. Now into the stuff that you actually want to hear about. Starting off verse 1, we see in the story that The Weeknd has gained a bit of traction for his music, and now people are starting to play his music in public places. As we heard in Same Old Song, he walks into a club, someone tries to say his money's no good in here, and he's like, who asked you? Who asked you if my money's good in here or not? It looks like a Canadian dollar to me. He sees this girl and she's so overworked. She's working probably like 6, 7 days a week. She deserves to be paid for her work, but she's been dreaming of him coming in here and she has to work. Like maybe she was about to get cut and then she saw he came in and she was like, I have to go work more now. So he's like, she deserves to be paid. Like she's been working very hard. He says, girl, don't you worry, girl. I have plenty of money and I'll even show you how to spend it. He says, I'm a kid, so it's hard for me to hold money, baby, because I'm a star. Now he's saying he's a star. He has plenty of rugs and rug dealers in his car. How they fit in there, I don't know. These rugs take up a lot of room, okay? I don't know how they all fit in there, but in the pre-chorus, over a dropped out beat that just sounds like muted clapping and a bass line, he tells us, saying this ain't nothing, but it's all I need. And the peak ain't reached, but the peak is all I feel. And it feels so good. It feels so good. He goes on to say in the chorus that I ain't scared of the fall. I've felt the ground before. Oh my God. Little 19-year-old me hearing that. Crazy, crazy stuff. We finally have some elaboration as to what The Weeknd is talking about way back in The Zone, The Fall. He said in an interview with Rolling Stone, like '08 to 2010, those are my hazy years, Tesfaye says. I have this lyric that goes, I'm not scared of the fall, I've felt the ground before. And in this industry, I'm not really scared of failing because I already know what it means to be on the ground. In verse 2, he opens up, pleading to his mom, saying she's upset with the way he's been living his life. We can infer from this that she probably didn't raise him to be so delinquent in society, dropping out of school, moving out at 17, searching for rugs, and meeting up with so many different women. Then he says he's been good since Thursday. Thursday! Thursday. He's been good since Thursday, which has a double meaning that you might miss if you don't stop freaking out that he just said Thursday. It could mean that he's been good since the literal day, last Thursday, or since the release of his second mixtape. We love a double meaning here on this channel. After that, he drops into a flow over a steady clapping beat. And I'm just going to read this to you because I never know what he says in here. So you can watch my love vanish in a girl with no talent, but to make moolah vanish, call her friend for my friend. Once again, the theme of not being able to hold his money. He says, in her friend's named Lexus, I let my test it. Her morals worth a cent, and best believe I already spent it. That friend that they called Lexus which could be a stripper name or a euphemism for driving a car. There's a bug on my. Oh my god. That's crazy. There was literally a bug on my couch. Okay. What was I saying? The friend could be a girl named Lexus. The interesting thing about this run is that her morals are cheap and easily bought by just sitting in a fancy car. He goes on to say, flown on that OVO jet. Yeah, I said it. Like saying, I'm on my come up. Drake is hot and he's rich and he's flying me on the plane on his private jet. He says, I was born to be reckless, was forced to make records. So you ain't gotta ask, who's next? Who's next? Saying he was born to be reckless in this life he's living, but he's forced to make records now. And he's really good at it. He's saying you don't gotta ask who's next because he is the answer. Funnily enough, the next song is literally called Next, and it's quite the departure from this moody yet upbeat tune. In the end, he lets us know again that this ain't nothing. No. But it's all I need. And the peak ain't reached, but the peak is all I feel. And it feels so good. It feels so good. What he's saying with this is it ain't nothing for him to put out a tune. It's not really much right now, but it's enough for him. He says the peak ain't reached, but the peak is all he feels, saying that he has not reached the top of the music industry yet, but the little bit of fame and notoriety he's got so far feels pretty dang good to him. And he really wants us to know that it feels good. And to remind us that he's not scared of the fall. Sending us off into the next track, he sings us out, repeating EXO over and over and over again. And that is the fall, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sitting with me for this one. The next track is literally called Next. To be honest, Next is kind of a skipper for me. I hate to say it, but the way it starts out is so slow. I just something about that piano. But once you like get past that, it's a banger. It's an absolute banger, okay? Y'all, would you believe me if I told you this song has the craziest first line of a song ever, I think? We move into the beginning of Next with the sound of a foreboding piano and some soft, sober humming in the background. The first line of this song, and I shit you not, this is really what it says. She popped that on a Monday. That is what it says. And you might think this is some kind of throwaway, like terrorizing horror line that he is using. No. No, this actually has significance. I just want you to think about it for a second. What comes after the weekend? Monday. I think it's an interesting parallel to the subject of this song, which is what comes after fame and fortune as far as romantic interests go. He says this Monday girl, she never falls in love, but she heard me in the club, she put in work, she want to give me all her money. She used to spend it all alone, 'cause her man went and did her wrong. Pretty self-explanatory. To this he responds, but baby, I'm not trying to be the one. I got my baby waiting home. She been too good to let her go. And I ain't trying to win your heart, and you can't pay to win my love. So keep dancing, baby, keep dancing, dancing, keep dancing, dancing, keep dancing. In the back layer of the pre-chorus, there is a voice that sounds like the Lonely Star, which at this point could just be functioning as the female voice in the story. She's saying, I want you, in between him saying, I know, yes, I know, yes, I know. Yes, I know, and I'm too far in this game to let go. So let go. So let go. Finally, it's not like he snaps, but he kind of pops off, saying, baby, who you trying to fool? Girl, I might be 21, but I got memories to prove that I've seen your kind before. And I know exactly what you want. We've literally seen this girl before in Thursday. We've literally seen this girl before in DD. We've literally seen this girl in a bunch of places. And once again, mentioning alone. I'm going to tack that up on the whiteboard. So after that, we repeat the pre-chorus again, the chorus again, and that is next. Heading into the title track of this EP, this mixtape, which is Echoes of Silence. Welcome to the title track of the Weeknd's final mixtape from 2011, which is Echoes of Silence. Once again, and for the final time on this record, we transition from the bright, clear piano music of Next to the muted piano melody of Echoes of Silence. In this song, we're having a bit of a conversation with a girl in his life, instead of them talking back and forth to each other, which is what I kind of feel like has been happening this whole time. And, like I said earlier, what I love about The Weeknd during this time especially is his unconventional song structure. This song is one verse and an outro. That's it. That's all it is. It is one verse. This infamous song that is the title track is one verse. And this is gonna end the original mixtape. Also, crazy work. I know. Okay, let's get into it. When I tell you this man was pioneering a new sound for R&B, that is what I mean. This came about in the time of very bright, shiny pop music, and so you don't just come out with a song with one verse and an outro and that's it. That is art, and it's so much harder to successfully pull off something simple than something complex almost. He starts off by saying, "Talk to me, baby. Tell me what you're feeling. You say you don't need to go. Don't you pretend you didn't know how all of this would end up. Girl, I saw it in your eyes. And baby, I can read your mind. And expectations were not in sight." This is probably the first mature, somber, reflective conversation that we get on this work out of all three mixtapes. Usually they're fighting and pointing fingers at each other and doing awful things to each other with no remorse, but in this song, it's different. He says, "You knew that talking dirty to me on the phone would get me here, 'cause we both wanted to do this, but I could tell that you were scared." Which is crazy work to me, that he's acknowledging that this is scary for her. Instead of just being like, "Yeah, we can fuck, but you can't fall in love with me though, haha." Okay. Then he says, "'Cause you thought there was more to us, but you knew how this would end. It's gonna end how you expected. Girl, you're such a masochist." He's calling her out. He's taking note that her actions are self-destructive. He's honestly like, any girl with any sense would stay away from me, but you don't. He's saying, I kind of like that, I'm awful and you're just still hanging around. This is the end of the mixtape. I keep wanting to call it an EP, but it's a mixtape. He said, "You knew how this would end up," and I've talked about it in various songs for over an hour at this point. Like, you knew how this would end. There is no happy ending in this love story. And he asks why she does this to herself. And she replies. And when he sings his question, he sings it kind of low. And then when he sings her reply, he sings it incredibly high. Throughout his mixtapes, he would famously pitch his voice up to sound like a girl. He literally did it on this mixtape, but I really like that this isn't pitched up and it's just simple and it's just him singing up an octave or two. In his high voice, he sings, "I like the thrill. Nothing's gonna make me feel this real. So baby, don't go home. I don't want to spend tonight alone. Baby, please, would you end your night with me? Don't you leave me all behind. Don't you leave my little life." Because in the end, like, she does have, like, kind of a little life compared to what he is about to embark on. At the end of this verse, we get the answer as to why she keeps coming back. And we get the final mention of alone on this track, except that's not true because he will mention alone in Till Dawn Here Comes the Sun. If you want to get technical, it's the last mention on Echoes of Silence, the original mixtape. The details are not specific in this song, so tell me, is this one of the girls from House of Balloons? Is this a girl from Thursday, The Lonely Star? Or is this a girl from Echoes of Silence, a completely, entirely different new girl from DD? Or is it representing all of them? Like how Michael Jackson used Dirty Diana as a euphemism for all the groupies. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like Next, this is not one that I turn to and turn on often, but it's still a banger. Well, it's not a banger per se, but he says a lot in this song. I know all the words, so, I've listened to it enough. I don't really be throwing this one on though, because it's just so sad. He doesn't even say Echoes of Silence in the song. We don't get the moment where I'm like, you said the thing! And the whole entire last minute is him crooning over a piano. That is the end of Echoes of Silence, the original mixtape. But in the next video and last video, next and last, that's funny, we are going to dive into our victory lap song, which is Till Dawn, Here Comes the Sun. This might be the most important lyric analysis I have done in my career as a lyric analyzer. I don't get paid to do this, but hopefully one day. I need you to pause your TV in the background that's playing, and I need you to take your eyes off the road, and I need you to listen to me, okay? Are you listening? Cool. Let's get into it. Remember how I was talking about how Echoes of Silence, the song specifically, has no structure whatsoever? Well, he heard me say that and said, oh, you want structure? I'll give you structure. I'll give you 2 verses, a pre-chorus, chorus, and a bridge. How's that? Right, right. Okay, so that's what Till Dawn, Here Comes the Sun is. It is what I like to call our victory lap. Victory laps are just like deluxe tracks or extra tracks that come out apart from the original piece, original work of art. And this is the first mention of dawn, except he's actually never going to say the word dawn in this song, but it is, for all intents and purposes, the name of the song. He only ever says, Here Comes the Sun, which, do I have to tell you? Are you gonna make me tell you? It's a freaking Beatles reference, okay? Lyric Genius did not even point that out, which I think is so funny, because I think they just assume everybody knows that, but we have to keep up with our ancient text, people. We start off our victory lap song with, I tell myself that I'll take you for the last time. I'll be over you eventually. Eventually being the working term here. Saying eventually is like telling your situationship that you're done with them and then texting them after you had 2 glasses of wine, okay? He says, time after time you seem to brush me off. I understand what we have become. It seems like he has also been reaching out to her a little bit, and she is like ignoring him. In the beginning of this journey, in the beginning of House of Balloons, she wanted him really bad, especially in Thursday. He was like, admit that you love me. But now it's like she's trying to blow him off, and he's like, oh, you're blowing me off? What have we become here exactly? It's actually kind of a mutual agreement that they just link up and don't catch feelings for each other. And if you have them, you push them down really, really far and pretend like they don't exist. We end the first verse with, you wash your neck when you leave. Now I know your routine. I was in love with your mystery. Now I just take what I can get from you. I'm not embarrassed to be what you want me to be. So I was getting this vibe off camera when I was breaking down these lyrics, but Genius seemed to echo my sentiment, which is that this verse 1 is from the girl's POV. I want you to think about that. Imagine she's saying, like, you wash your neck when you leave. Now I know your routine. I was in love with your mystery, but now I just take what I can get from you. Those last 2 lines I just said, those really reflect what we've seen throughout this piece and work of art. He's being vulnerable for a little bit. He's kind of saying, like, I was afraid without my hard shell persona on that you would get bored of me. If I didn't hide my face, you would find out what I was like and the mystery would be gone and you would get bored of me. And that's basically what he's saying. If this really is the girl's POV, she's not embarrassed to just show up how he needs her to be. And this is a testament to the fact that he is brand new on the scene, but he knows how to make a cohesive piece of work. You don't listen to The Weeknd for a conventional love song where everything is a happy ending. You don't. You don't listen to The Weeknd to have a happy love story spelled out in front of you. You listen to it for the nitty gritty details that happen in between love and out of love and people who are emotionally unavailable that you may have interacted with in your life. He goes on to say in the pre-chorus, she has nothing to hide. She doesn't even pretend to have any shame, which could be a precursor to Shameless on Beauty Behind the Madness. They can just keep each other in the dark about their lies, other partners they may have, and any feelings they may have for each other. He says, you know that I will be a call away, the call you make when you're all alone, and I know that I will always be the one you repent when you are done. This can be seen as a callback to Echoes of Silence when he says, "You knew that talking dirty to me on the phone would get me here." So she's making a call. She's all alone. She's talking dirty to him. This will be the actual last mention of alone in this song, in this piece, in this work of art, except actually it's not. He will say alone one more time in the other pre-chorus, but after that, then we'll be done. And by being the one that she repents, this is just reiterating that this is one specific person that is just hard to shake. Stepping into the chorus, we are told that, well, here comes the sun, and you're in my arms, and my denial keeps me on the edge of the chance that you'll stay through the night. Typically, when you stay with someone that you've linked up with through the night and that person who lives there doesn't kick you out, you don't kick them out, that could mean that you have potentially a nice feeling towards them. Like, you're not like, okay, got mine, get out. You know what I'm saying? They're at least, at the bare minimum, they're bearable to be around until the morning. But this song is not the case at all. There's so much unrequited feelings for each other in this song. Speaking of, in verse 2, he says, "You just want to fill the void now. I can tell that you've been yelling at him all night long, and I can hear it in your voice now. He got you smoking extra packs a day." You could probably hear it in my voice because I've been talking for over an hour. Girl in Echoes of Silence has a man, confirmed. And she is messing around with the Weeknd, and he knows, and he is totally okay with cheating at this time. He's like, "Yeah, girl, I'm the freaking cheater now." It's just like very interesting, kind of blur the lines a little bit. This girl, for all intents and purposes, is cheating on her man with him because her man is stressing her out, and she's freaking chain smoking about it, okay? He says, "Don't you worry about me talking. I know why you've been coming. I'll be quiet. This ain't nothing to me. Just wrap your legs around my waist. I won't stop until you ask me. Don't you worry about us messing up my sheets." And TikTok, listen, if you don't like that, I'll cut it out. But I felt like leaving it in was very important to the story and the imagery of this song. "Don't you worry about me talking" could be saying that he's going to be really quiet and not talk at all actually while they are hanging out and linking up. But I've always interpreted this as he won't go run and tell her man that she is with him because that would ruin their fun. Duh. He's saying, "I'm not gonna go hey girly your man." He's also implying that he might not have anything else going on at the moment because he doesn't care that his sheets are getting messed up, and he wants them both to be incredibly present in the moment because they can't exist in the outside world, you know? When I'm finished, you won't want to go outside. You won't want to go back into the regular world. He goes on to repeat in the pre-chorus saying, "'Cause unlike you, I got nothing to hide. I don't pretend to have any shame. I got a box you can put all your lies in until the end of days." The second chorus is then repeated twice, emphasizing the want and hope for them to be together at the very least until the sun comes up or until dawn. The bridge in this song is probably one of my favorite bridges ever of all time because it literally spells out her routine now. If washing his neck is his routine, this is hers. He sings, "You're gonna hate him, then you'll want me. Then you'll miss him. Girl, then you'll hate me. Girl, I know you so well. Girl, I know your routine. Yes, I know your routine." And so this is telling me this has been going on for quite a while. At least all of Echoes of Silence. This has been going on for a while. She's with her man, but she wants him. She goes to him. He knows. And the syncopated piano in this bridge, it's a wonder I haven't busted a hole in somebody's dashboard by like hitting the syncopation. And yet, even though he knows this is her routine, the sun still rises. She's in his arms, but he is in denial, and she's in denial. And for the final time, they will be together in the end when he knows they can't. And the thing that they feared so much, which is being alone, might come true, and it might not. we don't really have answers because here we are suspended in time at the end of the song. I want to ask you something. Do you feel like the question, is he wrong or is she wrong, answered? Do you think they're both wrong? And that is the end of Trilogy. It's been a long time coming, guys, but I'm so grateful for the love that y'all have shown on this series, and I can't wait to keep making more stuff. And ending things is always very hard, but very excited for where we are to go next. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.